Chapter 19, Part 1. Jonas glanced at the clock. There was so much work to be done, always, that he and the giver seldom simply sat and talked the way they just did. I'm sorry that I wasted so much time with my questions, Jonas said. I was only asking about release because my father is releasing a new child today, a twin. He has to select one and release the other one. They do it by weight. Jonas glanced at the clock. Actually, I suppose he's already finished. I think it was this morning. The giver's face took a solemn look. I wish they wouldn't do that, he said quietly, almost to himself. Well, they can't have two identical people around. Think how confusing it would be. Jonas chuckled. I wish I could watch. I wish I could watch, he added, as an afterthought. He liked the thought of seeing his father perform the ceremony and making the little twin clean and comfy. His father was such a gentleman. You can watch, the giver said. No, Jonas told him. They never let children watch. It's very private. Jonas, the giver told him. I know that you read your training instruction very carefully. Don't you remember that you are allowed to ask anyone anything? Jonas nodded. Yes, but Jonas, when you and I have finished our time together, you will be the new receiver. New receiver. You can read the books, you will have the memories, you have access to everything. It's a part of your training. If you want to watch a release, you have simply to ask. Jonas shrugged. Well, maybe I will then. But it's too late for this one. I'm sure it was this morning, the giver told him, then something he had not known. All public ceremonies are recorded. They're in the Hall of Closed Records. Do you want to see this morning's release? Jonas hesitated. He was afraid that his father wouldn't like it if he watched something so private. I think you should, the giver told him firmly. All right then, Jonas said. Tell me how. The giver rose from his chair, went to the speaker in the hall, and clicked the switch from off to on. The voice spoke immediately. Yes, receiver. How may I help you? I'd like to see this morning's release of the twin. One moment, receiver. Thank you for your instruction. Jonas watched the video screen above the row of switches. His blank face began to flicker with zigzag lines. Then some numbers appeared, followed by the date and time. He was astonished and delighted that this was available to him, and surprised that he had not known. Suddenly he could see a small windowless room, empty except for a bed, a table with some equipment on it. Jonas recognized the skill. He had seen them before when he'd been doing volunteer hours at the nurturing center. When he'd been doing volunteer hours at the nurturing center and a cupboard, he could see pale carpet on the floor. It's just an ordinary room, Hugh commented. I thought maybe they'd have it in the auditorium so that everyone could come. all the old could go ceremonies of release, but I suppose that when he's just a newborn, they don't. Shh, the giver said, his eyes on the screen. Jonas's father, wearing his nurturing uniform, entered the room, cradling a tiny new child wrapped in a soft blanket in his arms. A uniformed woman followed through the door, carrying a second new child wrapped in a similar blanket. That's my father, Jonas found himself whispering, as if he might wake the little ones if he spoke aloud. And the other nurturer is his as- assi- assistant. She's still in training, but she'll finish soon. The the two nurturers the two nurturers unwrapped the blankets and laid the identical newborns on the bed. They were naked. Jonas could see that they were males. He watched, fascinated, as his father gently lifted one and then the other to scale and weight them. He heard his father laugh. Good, his father said to the woman. I thought for a moment that they might both be exactly the same. Didn't really have a problem, but this one, he handed one after rewrapping to his assistant. Is 6 pounds even, so you can clean him up and dress him and take him over the center. The woman took a new child and left through the door she had entered. Thomas watched as his father bent over the squirming new child on the bed. And you, little guy, you're only 5 pounds 10 ounces. A shrimp. That's the special voice he uses with Gabriel, Jones remarked, smiling. Watch, the giver said. Now he cleans him up and makes him comfy, Jones told him. He told me. Be quiet, Jonas, the giver commented in a strange voice. Watch. The obvi- Obviously, Jonas concentrated on the screen, waiting for what would happen next. He was especially curious about the ceremony part. His father turned and opened the cupboard. He took out a stirring and a small bottle.